wash me over until my well runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby.
Queen Charlotte is really powerful because it kind of shows. This fly, sorry. Why is TikTok so obsessed with Queen Charlotte?
Why?
Because it's a lot. You can't scroll like 3 times without seeing. Do you love me? I love you. I love you. You can't scroll 3 times.
I will stand between the heavens and earth.
I will tell you where you are. It's do you love me? I love you. I couldn't breathe. Like it's too much.
I will stand with you between the heavens and the earth. I will tell you where you are. Do you love me?
Shut up! Shut up! Don't cry. Let me tell you. You sound like the last time. You didn't hear me. What did I want you?
It's not actually every day.
It is. It took the beauty away from that.
You think?
Yes.
Because it means it.
Yeah, the memes always kill everything. The first time I watched it, I wasn't paying attention and I watched it again.
I was crying.
I did cry.
I didn't cry. I was like lame.
I did cry because I was just like, it's just the emotion. And I think what I like about Queen Charlotte is that she's so like headstrong.
Yeah.
She's like, listen, this is gonna happen.
You know what she wants.
It's gonna happen, you know, because I say so. And in that moment, George is being stubborn and annoying, and you know, all that kind of trope of like, no, I'll hurt you. No, I'm too much for you. I don't deserve you.
He's like, yeah, you don't, but like, I want to be with you.
I will stand between the heavens and the earth.
But I think TikTok's so obsessed because it's like, I think as like our generation is so love starved in terms of like proper actual good representation of love. Like the only love that we see is like through media, like through celebrity relationships.
Of healthy love or just
healthy love, or like just love in general. I think the only like the popular ones that we see is like very dysfunctional love, especially especially in the black community. The black celebrities, this type of love that they show, people like Nick Cannon impregnating everyone and their mom all the time, 10, 11 babies out here on these streets, people crying up and down, Krishan Rock and Blueface, just like the perception of actual people and love, it's just not really, I don't know, it's not healthy.
And love sells. Like if we think about the shows that are so popular, Love Island, like the concept of love, because
everyone wants
Love is Blind, like all these reality shows are so popular. Like love is the main thing. Love and relationships sells so well.
That's what we want deep down. Like every person on this earth, I believe, in some shape or form, even if like now you don't want it, at one point you did. Like everyone wants love. You know, the love of a mother, the love of a parent, of a brother, of a sister, of a partner. Everyone wants love, and I think that's why TikTok is so obsessed with this whole "do you love me?" because it's like people don't talk like that anymore. People that we profess, you know, love in such, I guess, intimate details where it's like, I will stand between the heavens and the earth. Like people don't say that. She basically saying she's gonna ground him. Yeah, she's gonna show him, and that is really beautiful. But I just think TikTok ruins it, my friend. It ruined it for me. Yeah, it ruined it. I'm not really a TikTok person. I prefer Twitter. Too much. No, I'm not on it like that. I prefer Twitter because at least with Twitter, we'll just like there'll be like a GIF and we thirst over like the GIF. It did ruin. Twitter did ruin the bane of existence for me though, because I think I saw it on Instagram and Twitter before I watched Bridgerton, and so when it came, you're the bane of my and also I didn't really know what the bane of my existence meant. Like even to this day, do you know what it means? Like no, I get it. You're the reason I live, basically. No, it basically means that, you know, like you drive me crazy, but I want you still. That's what it means. Like the thing is, when that season came out, I will say it was more on Twitter. Then this one. Sorry. Then this one, whereas this one, like I still see it on Twitter, but it wasn't to the same extent. Why is it so popular? I think it's popular because, like you said, love starved. And I think there's something about period dramas that attracts people. And if you think about period dramas as well, even like the whole Bridgerton series, period dramas do not look like Bridgerton. They do not look like Charlotte, because we think of what, like white middle class English men and women. Even like when I look on YouTube and see like people basically breaking down, analyzing Queen Charlotte, they'd have like the black Queen Charlotte, the India actress, and then they have like the original, and she'd be white, like back in the day, the original Queen Charlotte, and like it's just so much emphasis on, you know, the original versus the fake almost, and like always it's not accurate because the woman's actually white, and you know, just those type of issues. And girl, I don't know what you were saying. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I feel like I'm just, I guess, talking about the series in the whole as why it's so, like, why it is popular, why it attracts so many people, because it's taken period dramas and like that whole kind of
also well, it's finish what I was saying, sorry.
No, I was going with my
also I was gonna say I think another reason why it's popular is it's capitalizing on a new phenomenon which is interracial relationships. And like if you peep it, if you're on YouTube, in fact not just YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, interracial couples sell.
Yeah,
they are the ones that will get the
in
views.
media and
it's
advertising. It's like,
and I think that's 100% why I think a lot of us, obviously our parents anyways, were more closed when it comes to interracial dating. But I feel like our generation are definitely more
live in a globalized world where we are meeting people from so many different parts of the world, and I think that's what Bridgerton does, because it brought, especially the second season, beautiful like South Asian women, dark skin,
gorgeous,
and it's brought them all together into one place. And I think in a way that kind of showing that they're all deserving of love regardless. And even if we look at the topic of race in Queen Charlotte, and how it's Queen Charlotte that brought it's through her and Lady Danbury actually, that race was accepted, and the what's it called? What's when you integrate? That's integrate.
When you integrate. What's another word for like integrate, but not integrate?
The integration is okay, and it's just through that we've had, you know, the first series of Bridgerton. We've had, if they didn't have
there would
then
be
we wouldn't be.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. And honestly, I think Queen Charlotte is really powerful because it kind of shows. This fly, sorry. Queen Charlotte is really powerful because it kind of shows like what, you know, how much power people in the upper class / you know, the leaders of the world, how much power they really hold, because they said it was okay to love a person of color, then it made it okay for everyone. But because it wasn't okay for them before that, there was segregation. And I think that's why, just like another reason why, you know, Bridgerton and, you know, Queen Charlotte is so powerful on its own. And I think it gives, you know, it gives women of color the opportunity to be the main leads and the object of beauty and object of desire. And I think for a long time, obviously now we get it more often than not, but for a long time in the past, like 90s, before, I won't say 90s, but a long time in the past, you know what I'm saying, black women, dark-skinned Asian women were not the beauty side. They were not the romantic interest. They were not the person, the objects of the bane of my existence and the objects of all my desire. They were not. And I think what makes Bridgerton so beautiful is that it gives them the opportunity and the freedom for the beauty to really be expressed the way it deserves. And I think that's why it's so popular as well.
Do you think though, because one thing with Bridgerton is that even though they were in a position of power, like George, even though he was in a position of power, he still had no choice but to marry. Do you think? So do you think? Do you think it shows that even if you are at the top of society, you still have some kind of control over you? Because even the bit where I feel like it was just kind of a facade, but anyway, when he was like to her, you have a choice, like, do you want to marry me? And I was like, do you really have a choice? You don't really have a choice.
And it's like, well, how would they retaliate, you know, against her?
If she did,
she ran away as well.
Especially because her brother was like, you know, they offered us like protection. Like there was so much riding on their relationship that it was like, is there really a choice whether you guys get married at all?
But I still feel like because he gave her the element of choice before, her brother didn't give her any, like there was no choice to give, and it was just like, you're gonna do this, you haven't really got a choice, either do this or, you know, or you'll die, honey, basically. But whereas with George, I think what made her choose him is the fact that he gave her options, even if the options, if you actually think about it, weren't really, like, if you think about it, girl, you can't leave, you know, you can leave, but like your family will pay for it, you know. I think what made her take the step forward and marry him is that in itself. And I think that's beautiful, you know. I think that's a good enough reason, you know, to marry anyone, because Whereas everyone's telling you don't have a choice. His mother's telling you you're gonna wear this dress, you're gonna do that. He was just like, you know what, if you do have a choice, you know. And I think that's what made him in her eyes worthy of her love, of taking the step. When he fucked it up, honey. But anyways, we gonna skip him.
What did he?
Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
How?
On the wedding night, he was talking about leave me alone, bitch.
No, but
stay here by yourself.
No, but
what?
To be honest, I agree, because you know the bit when they showed his perspective. Did you feel like that redeemed him enough for you? Me neither.
Why are you asking questions?
I'm asking just so
no, of course
I don't
not.
think
You didn't have to do all that.
I think that
and I think there's even like holes like that. There's more that they could have filled in for it to make more sense. I think even when they showed his perspective, I was just like, there's some things that still don't make sense that I need to be completed, but it wasn't. So.
I think what I liked about Bridgerton was that when she was like, if he's gonna be mad, let him be mad. I think that for me was the most powerful thing, because seeing him get tortured and seeing everything that he was getting, like a power trip over like torturing the king.
I was sick in the head. Like he should be in boxed up. Like
I liked it, but I feel like there was, maybe because I binged it, I don't know, but I feel like it was good. I feel like in areas it could have been better.
Of course.
Yeah,
there's definitely places the way it could have been better, 100%. That I do agree with, especially like George's point of view. I just felt like there's some parts that just didn't make sense.
Yeah, but it just felt very repetitive. I'm not gonna lie. It felt like we already seen this. It didn't. For me, it didn't feel. For me, as a TV person, I was thinking they were like saying, how can we repurpose the stuff that we already used? It felt like,
you know, it was for me,
and it was so long. It was just like, we've already seen this.
It reminded me of like, I think George's perspective. My biggest issue is with George's POV. It reminded me of like the books, not like, but like, you know how some I've read the books, but I don't know if I read the Queen Charlotte. I don't think I have. But with the books, right? They in like some books, romance books, they will have like a problem, and then like the problem will be so big, and then they will like, when they fix it at the end, it's like it almost feels like they didn't think through the solution to the problem. They think that they bring up the solution to the problem at the end, and it's like it still doesn't make sense to why the original problem to begin with. Him running away from her, I needed more than that. I needed more.
So if it was a thing where he had an episode, like, well, they did,
but it was I needed an episode of like his life, you know, before it. I needed, like, you know how like, you know, in Anthony got flashbacks, you know.
He did.
Like, so it made sense, the reason why he was.
If it was a thing like, no one will ever love you with this disease you have.
Yeah, or like showing him as a kid like being picked on by adults making comments, and how calling him like a demon, like witch, like possessed.
And where's George's dad? No, he died, didn't it? That would have been like a flashback.
I feel like they needed flashbacks. It was just some things that are incomplete, and that was just my final thoughts on it.
I agree.
What's the final thoughts on its impact, Bridgerton, on TikTok people, just, you know, social media society?
I think someone was saying, joking, why does Shonda make these things like these things when it's like men in real life don't match up to that standard? I don't.
No, I will find a man who matches up. Don't say that. I will find one.
They were saying men in real life don't match up to the standard. So I don't.
If you're a man like that, my DMs are open.
I think the Bridgerton men have a trend of being, I guess, like stoic.
Dream men.
I mean, yeah, but they're like hard men. But then when it comes to
that first one, no, I didn't rate him. If you read the first book, you know.
But when it comes to like expressing their love, it's like, I guess, so desperate and like, you know, so passionate, you know. So I think it reflects how, I guess, women desire a man to express themselves passionately, and so I think the impact would be, I mean, it's very hard to measure, but like the expectation that I guess women have of men, and I guess for men it's like
I think it's funny because like for women, like you said, like women, the impact for women is just like, I know what I want a man to like
express
love me out loud.
I'm the bane of existence.
No, you ain't gotta say the bane, honey.
Don't be saying that. It's just recycling. What? Be original.
Yeah, be original. Like,
you are the plantain to my peanuts.
Sweet potato.
You are
I don't forget you.
Expressing verbally
out loud.
Is that important to you?
Of course. Like, I think everything is important. Like, I'm a quality time person, but doesn't mean I don't want you to, I don't want to hear you tell me these things that I don't want, you know, the actions to follow. And I think the impact is it forces women to like, okay, I know what I want more. And whereas like for men on the other hand, it's like, oh, now I have to like do better. And I think that's
that's a bad thing.
I think, and then men have an issue with that. It's like, well, some men anyways, and it's a bit weird because it's like, what's wrong with doing better, especially for the people you love? Like, it's that's never wrong. But anyway, that was me, honey.
But yeah, one small question: do you think that the Queen Charlotte kind of replayed the kind of whole "a woman can save you" trope? Do you think it did that?
No, because George is not savable. You know, like you said, he has good days and bad days. Sometimes he's Farmer George, you know, just George, and sometimes he's not. And I like that there was no happy ending because it's realistic. Because George is, because
you can see how it's deteriorated. His illness.
That man is sick, unfortunately. You know, and it's just there's no, at the time there's no cure. Maybe now there would have been some medication to stabilize him, some therapy, some whatever. But back then it was just not possible. And I think, you know, and I think also Charlotte accepting that she can't fix him too made it so important. And you know, I love their love story. It's tragic, it's sad, it's even painful at some points, but it just kind of shows that unfortunately not all love is forever, which kind of hurts if you think about, but it's still love all the same, and deserving love. Like George does deserve to be loved, and she loved him and he loved her, you know, when he was sane and recognized her
on the good days.
On the good days, yeah.
Those even days, he was on his best behavior.
That man needs to get off her.
On his best behavior. He said it's an even day?
No, she was
even day.
13 children. Oh no, that man is too much.
Said it's even day?
He's a bastard. I think if Queen Charlotte was my best friend, I would get out of here. It's enough. Yeah.
Don't you get tired? Don't you rest?
My vagina is going to stairs that you so please leave her alone. It's too much. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Oh wow, you said that in like a harmonious. Thanks, guys.
You sound like angels. Till next time.